water your plants at certain times of day, you have to have short showers, that sort of thing. Now we're doing a lot better where water is concerned in Sydney, but there's definitely rural areas of Queensland that are facing like worse drought than they have in years. So there is also floods, so we kind of have it all. The worst floods, one of the worst floods in Australia was in 2010. There were Queensland floods that cost us $2.38 billion and it killed 38 people. So it was another quite extreme thing. So I think it's interesting to appreciate that Australia has good weather, but sometimes it does come at a cost. So a little bit of Australia's history. So originally Australia was inhabited by Aboriginals. So they have been there for at least 40,000 years and is said to be one of the oldest Indigenous communities. But that all changed in 1788 when the first fleet arrived with 11 boats full of convicts and began to settle in Australia. So then all these independent colonies, there were 6 of them, formed together, which formed the nation that we have today and all the different states. So more about the Aboriginals. So the Aboriginals are have quite a special story and very unique culture. One thing they have is what we refer to as Dreamtime stories. So one of the stories is about how birds got their colour. Aboriginals say that originally all birds had no colour, they were just black. But one day there was a particular bird that had a splinter in its foot and it was kind of crying out for help. All the other birds came except the selfish crow. So then all the other birds helped get the splinter out. Once the splinter was out, kind of the bird's blood spurted all over the other birds and gave them colour, except for the crow, which still remains black today. So I think it's kind of like a kind of moral type story that's passed down traditionally through generations to kind of make children behave. So unfortunately, Aboriginals have a similar situation to Native Americans and kind of Indigenous populations. They've had difficulty thriving in a modern society. So we have a lot of issues that face Aboriginals, such as like poverty and that sort of thing. It's a very politicised debate, and we have, a couple of years ago, we had our Prime Minister finally say sorry to them. But again, it's a long kind of process because they could never really be in our society because we took away theirs. So some of the incredible sites of Australia that I recommend you all to see. So the first one you have the 12 Apostles, the Great Barrier Reef, the Blue Mountains, Fraser Island, Cairns, and Lord Howe Island. So I've been to the Blue Mountains and Fraser Island. So Fraser Island is the largest sand island in the world and obviously features a lot of unique animals like dingoes and that sort of thing. It is kind of really incredible. So more onto Sydney, which is my hometown. So obviously you have your features such as the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. You're actually able to walk over the Harbour Bridge, and I have done that with my father when I was 13, which is a great memory. You know, it was kind of at sunset, and to see the whole city was just beautiful. And then the Opera House, I've sung in the Opera House with a lot of choirs. School choirs come together every year and kind of put on a performance, so I've been to that, which was a great experience. So Sydney beaches. Yes, Sydney is very well known for the beaches such as Manly and Bondi. I hadn't been to the beach for 2 years, and then all the outbound exchange students decided that we would go to the beach. And the day that we were there was a shark spotted in the water and we had to all get out. But as you can see, there's still some brave people that just are still in the water. So my future. So after I get back from exchange, I am in a course in the University of Technology Sydney, right in the middle of the city, to do a midwifery degree. And I will also do an additional year, which is called a Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation, which is kind of about global thinking. So I definitely think that exchange is a very good head start on that. So my exchange so far, it's only been 2 months and yet I have done some amazing things. This was our initial language camp to Bolnas, where we made it in the paper, which was really exciting. I've also been to Erland with my host family, which was such a pretty sight. It really reminded me a lot of Australia. And and I've been able to do lots of other things with exchange students, kind of being a tourist in my own city, which is nice. So I want to tell you a bit about my Rotary back home. Now my club is approximately 20 members, so quite a nice small club. Because Sydney is so big, there are a lot of smaller clubs. This is kind of when I was getting presented my blazer, which was a really special moment. And then in Sydney, our district, we had 21 outbounds, which I think is the most that Australia sends out. And I even have someone else in Sweden with me who I get to see on language camps and that, which is really fun. So basically, I just wanted to say a really big thank you to Rotary, because none of this is possible without you, and I really want to thank my sponsor club, which is North Ryde, and you as my host club. So yeah, thank you very much for this experience. I will be forever grateful.